And actually, since we just got our CE mark, I can say it reduces congestion, pain, and pressure associated with any disease state. So we are a commercial phase company. We have produced a new and innovative technology for sinus pain, and this is the tip of the iceberg as we begin to address the most pervasive chronic conditions using microcurrent as opposed to medicine. Now, why start with sinus? It's actually one of the most underserved quality of life markets. $130 billion in pharmaceutical market, and they don't really work all that well. In fact, 30 million Americans are suffering from conditions daily, and the only solution they've had until now is flushing their nose with salt water. We've taken the power of neuromodulation and built it into a small handheld unit that can be used at home by the patients. They glide it along the skin. It detects key areas associated with nerves and vasculature, vibrates to tell them to hold it in place, and once they hold it in place, glide to locate the next treatment point. We are FDA cleared, 510K with clinical data, and as I just mentioned, our CE mark last week. We launched in September 2019, and we are already at over $500,000 in sales. So this is what I just described. There's a microcurrent loop that passes through the facial skin to the nerves under the facial skin. These particular nerve fibers serve as wires to carry the waveform into the sinus membrane. And the waveform, our proprietary patented waveform, has been shown to induce the release of norepinephrine. So basically inducing the body to make its own medicines. Proven effective, a pivotal study was done at the Stanford Sinus Center with 5 minutes of treatments, measuring 10 minutes after patients experienced a 30% reduction in pain, a 35% reduction in congestion. The FDA is currently examining our data on congestion to add that to our US-based label claims. We also conducted a 4-week study at the Allergy and Asthma Associates of Northern California. In this 4-week study, we see the symptoms continue to decline as the patients are using it week over week. Now, for comparison, this data is as good as Flonase for what they get when they do a medical washout. And we were doing this only as an adjunct therapy in addition to whatever medications people were taking and while they were reducing their medication use. In terms of side effect profile, the worst side effect we have is less than 3% of patients in our trials have experienced a minor skin irritation that goes away in 15 minutes. So I am perfectly comfortable standing up here to say that ClearUp is safer, faster, and more effective than the leading pharmaceuticals in the market. In fact, there is no pharmaceutical that can claim both a fast-acting effect and improvement in symptoms over time. No habituation and no rebound effects. So we've gotten some acknowledgement since September. These are some of our customer reviews. As I said, 500,000 sale, about 5,000 devices in field. There are some serious macro trends that support our business case. One is the global rise in allergic and sinus disease due to development, pollution, and a number of other factors. It's also the consumerization of healthcare. So you might not have picked up on it, but this is an over-the-counter sale. And we'll talk about our go-to-market, but this is because consumers are increasingly responsible for finding their own healthcare solutions, particularly when it comes to quality of life. And finally, we're in an area of high growth in global electronic medicine. So we've gone to market with a business model that leverages today's health realities, the realities of the healthcare system as we know it now. We're marketing direct to consumer, and we're already showing success on that front. And physicians around ENT and allergists are increasingly aggregating into groups, 200 physicians in a group. So when we have a successful user and they tell their physicians and they tell their colleagues and they tell more physicians, we're already seeing the power of that viral effect. And unlike a pharmaceutical product, we are technically durable medical equipment. Physicians can make money on the resale of our product, and I gotta tell you, they like that. Secondly, because it's over the counter, it is solely at their discretion whether they recommend it or not. They don't have to worry about formularies or any other filtering criteria. Strong fundamentals, the basic business case. We've got major regulatory marks done. We have 3 patent allowances that should be coming out this quarter, 13 more in progress. The economics are compelling. $149 list price, it's a perfectly comfortable out-of-pocket expense for the consumer. The electronics are cheap to make, so at volume, we're easily looking at a 60% gross margin, fully loaded gross margin. Our current manufacturing is scalable to 20,000 units a month. That translates to over 24 million in revenue. And this is a very high growth opportunity. This is not a localized problem. This is not a US problem. This is a global opportunity. And in countries like India, China, and Japan, 40% incidence rate. So for the investors in the room, why should you care? Why should you care about something that looks like a gadget? We are raising a 10 million Series A, and this is the opportune time for investment. We've cleared the major risk hurdles. We have international opportunity ahead of us. We are at the inflection point. Now, if we achieved just 1% market penetration, we're looking comfortably at a 4 to 6x return in just a couple of years. But that's on 1%. And I promise you we intend to do better. But even more important is recognizing that neuromodulation is getting in terms of multiples. We're in a category called bioelectronic medicine that is recognized by McKinsey as the most underappreciated multi-billion-dollar category that is growing in medicine. To give you some parallels, Oculeave, a neuromod bioelectronic product for dry eye, was acquired for $390 million pre-revenue, pre-FDA clearance. Now, I don't know how to calculate the multiple on 0 because that goes to infinity. Inspire is a publicly listed company for sleep apnea, 80 million in revenue, 2 billion market cap. When they listed, they went from 400 million to 1 billion in 3 months. And a 65x return to their A-round investors. Now, those are 2 single product companies. We actually have a pipeline already working. I've got ClearUp for the US. We've got ClearUp to go a $4 billion market in the US. We've got ClearUp to go OUS. That's another $8 billion market, validated with third-party research. We have work going on right now with Mount Sinai on a postoperative pain test, which can be dovetailed straightforward into an over-the-counter migraine product. And when it comes to migraine, pills are only supposed to take in the major treatment only twice a month. So when you consider that there are 4 million people who get headaches 15 times a month, there's a real need. Next, the comorbidity. This is going to surprise you. There is a huge comorbidity between sinus conditions and migraine, eczema, psoriasis, and TMJ. All areas that we have identified early research that can be leveraged to create more bioelectronic solutions in somewhat of a combinatorial and plug-and-play model. So I really have a vision to begin building out this company, not simply as a single product company, but as a pioneer and a leader in introducing bioelectronic medicine to the mainstream. I have a team that is custom built for doing this. My chief scientific officer, this is his 4th neuromodulation product. He's starting his 5th with us. Maureen, my head of marketing, has launched 500 consumer products. She launched the very first electrical stimulation product over the counter in the US, maintained it as the most profitable offering in the category, and had it in 23,000 stores in 18 months. And Dr. Doss has stepped in as our interim chief medical officer. He is one of the key opinion leaders in the field and also our largest investor. So if you're looking for an opportunity, a company that is commercial phase, ready to scale, has the right team in place, and has huge opportunity ahead of us, I hope you will reach out to me. Certainly you can reach me by my email. You can reach me on the app. And I will be in the speaker rooms at the end of the hall following the presentation session. So it's not often you see a deal that checks all the boxes. I couldn't avoid that, sorry guys. But this is one of those opportunities, and we really are at the right point to create significant value for investors that invest at this phase. If you would like to help millions of people, help pioneer a new field of medicine, and make good money, and help people do something that millions of us take for granted, and that's breathe. I would love to talk with you.